Hi, today I want to talk to you about the inner critic. You know the one. You're feeling good about something you've done, and then a little voice starts to get louder and louder in your head, and you don't feel so good anymore. Well, I have a tool that I use, it's called self-critique, that effectively silences my inner critic, and I'm going to walk you through my process and how I use it right now. So the thing about your inner critic is, it's not balanced in any way. It has one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to make you doubt yourself, to give you imposter syndrome. When you're starting out on something new like I am, making videos for YouTube, it has a lot of ammunition. But as I said, I use self-critique, which might sound a little odd, as the word critique seems a lot like criticism. So let's start by talking about the difference between critique and criticism. Criticism typically is very unbalanced and not very focused. It's quite shallow and it's usually quite hurtful, no question about it. Critique, on the other hand, is a compassionate process where you take a balanced, good, hard look at what you've done. And at the end of that critique, you have a plan to go forward that's going to make you a better artist. So, critique comes in two steps. The first step is to look for the strengths or positives in what you've just made. So identify those, write them down in a list. But to get any value out of doing this, you need to go deeper. You need to understand how and why those strong points in what you've made are having that effect. They're working well and they're making what you've made good. So you really need to dig deep, and you're going to learn an awful lot that you can use as a plan to build upon your recent experience in making something as you go to make the next thing. Let's talk about videos, or just use videos as a stand-in for whatever it is. You might be a painter, you might be a singer-songwriter, but it's basically the same principle. So, that's the first step. The first step is to identify the positive things, something that your inner critic is never going to tell you about. But they're the things that made you feel good in the first place. Now there's a second step, and that's to take the same care and use compassion to look at what didn't work so well in your video. When I look at my last video, for example, I think there was a section where probably I should have had some B-roll instead of just continuing with the talking head segment. That's just one of many examples. My transitions were pretty amateurish, to say the least. I also saw that. Now, when you're starting out as I am, and perhaps as you are, the list of things that didn't work so well may be significantly longer than the list of things that did work. That comes with the territory of learning how to do something new. So again, you have your list of things that didn't work so well, and now you go back and you start to go deeper and deeper into why they didn't work. And try, if you can, to boil it down to some simple but direct action items. So for example, in my case, I know that I need to learn an awful lot more about editing. I need to get far more comfortable talking to camera, and I need to organize my thoughts more. So I need to look up a good YouTube tutorial on how to edit in DaVinci Resolve and work through that tutorial and get better at some of the skills that I need in editing. The only way I'm going to get more comfortable talking to camera is by talking to camera. So maybe I need to film myself every day for 10 minutes, just chatting to the camera as if I was chatting to a friend. So these are the types of ways that you can build up a sort of plan of action. You've got one half of it, which is the things that are working well. You really understand how and why they're working well, so you will be able to deploy them very effectively in the next time you make a video. And then the things that are actions of, I need to learn something, this is how I'm going to learn it, or this is how I'm going to improve, and that's going to allow you to do a better job, or in my case, will allow me to do a better job on my next video. Now, the great thing about critique is that it doesn't apply just to looking at your own work. As you're watching other videos, for example, on YouTube, and you're thinking, wow, that's so fantastic. I'm thinking that all the time when I watch other videos. What I try to do is identify, why am I saying that? What is it about this video that's making me appreciate how good it is? And what can I learn from that? And again, using the critique method is the key here. It's not enough to say that it's great, I really like it. I'm not getting much benefit from that simple a reaction. Identifying some of the things that I think are working well, like I really like the transitions, or I really like the motion titles that back up the main points of what the YouTuber is saying. That's helpful. I need to go deeper again to try and understand exactly why that was the right choice, for example, to use in that video. So, compassion, deep, balanced assessment of your work. That's what a critique is. And if you're doing that, there's no room for the inner critic in your ear. I hope that's helpful. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any tips that you'd like to share about how you silence your inner critic, please leave a comment below. I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time.